Coffee, coffee and tea. Now pull up and see. How do you lay your welcome to coffee and tea. Have a sip. Welcome to coffee and tea. Cream and sugar. Welcome to coffee and tea.
Hi everybody! Oh my gosh, like y'all have to understand the level of geekdom that I am in right now because of that whole like intro. Welcome. It's coffee and tea time. This is not like I can't say it's not a real show, but it's not a real show. It is just a conversation about where our season is going to go this year. And I am actually really excited about where the season is going. Um, and the reason I'm excited about where this season is going because like beforehand, not to say that like my seasons were like all over the place, but they were all over the place. So I had like a book and I was writing down, like, oh, this would be a good topic. Oh, this would be a good topic or whatever. And that's kind of where we were going with it. And this season, like I decided to do kind of like a theme and then go through the theme and develop the stories from there. But hold on one second because I'm trying to fix this situation with the Facebook part. Um, so as I'm trying to do this, I have to tell you guys about like this whole situation with my intro music. And the reason why I want to tell you, I know I'm not looking at y'all. Hold on. Um, I know that like, I hope you heard it. If not, I'm gonna play it one more time. It's not really long, so like it's kind of cool. And then I'll tell you the story behind it.
Welcome to coffee and tea. Now pull up and see. How do you lay your
I literally have been listening to this like it's an actual track on its own. I mean, that's a track on an album.
welcome to
You know,
coffee
stuff
and
seriously,
tea. Have a
when
sip.
you got like a change,
To
a
coffee
modulation or
and tea.
whatever.
Cream and sugar. Welcome to
So,
coffee and tea.
so shout out to my very, very good friend who has been on my show several times before. You guys know him as one half of the dynamic duo that is Two Fat Guys podcast. His name is Kevin Gross, and he also is, I guess you would call him the owner of One Mind Productions, which is his, like, Kevin is like a legitimate music producer, right? So he actually produced the track. Now, the person who is singing on the track is one of the artists that he works with, who's here in Baltimore, whose name is Mr. Raheem Anderson. And I happen to be like, I'm probably not the biggest fan, but I'm probably like up there. Um, and that's Raheem singing on the intro. And I'll be honest with y'all, like when Kevin and I talked about elevating my brand or whatever, and he was like, Chris, you need some intro music. I was like, sure, like, why don't you go ahead and do it for me? And we were supposed to do it last season, and I just never got around to it because Chris always got stuff going on. So the last time I was on his podcast, we talked about it, and he was like, "Chris, what do you want?" And I told him, I was like, "Oh, I want the Smoky Lounge, jazzy kind of vibe." And Kevin was like, "I don't do jazz," and I was like, "Yes, you do. Like, expand your mind. Do what you're supposed to do." So he came up with this, and he asked Mr. Anderson for a favor, and I am like thoroughly grateful. Like, I have fangirled about this intro music since he gave it to me. I probably have listened to it at least once a day since he gave it to me. But that's just because I'm a huge fan of Raheem's, as well as just it's kind of like your favorite celebrity, like saying your name. So the fact that there is a person who actually like sung the name of my podcast, like I don't really know what to do with it. Um but I am forever grateful. So I had to shout both of them out for, doing me a solid there with the thing. So, and I'm trying not to like overly fangirl about it, which is why I've been listening to it forever, because I'm trying to get the like super fangirl vibes out the way, so that you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm probably blushing and all that kind of stuff, and it's cool. Like, it just, you know, it just is. Viva, leave me alone. Viva, go sit down somewhere. Um, but hey, girl, hey. But again, like, this season is really gonna be like kind of cool. And the reason that this season to me is gonna be kind of cool is because we have a arc for the actual season, and as you see, it's called the slow burn arc. And the reason I'm calling it the slow burn arc is because we're going to slowly move through a lot of these episodes, and as we continue to move towards the end, the episodes are going to heat up. So when I think about a slow burn, I think about a candle. So, when you light it, when the candle's full, like, it's good. But the longer you burn the candle, the faster it burns. So that's kind of where we are. I tell no lies, sis. I'm not telling any lies at all. Um, but that's kind of where we are with the season. So it's gonna be good, and I am like thoroughly excited about it. Hey, Courtney, you have to go back and you have to listen to the beginning, because you have to hear the song that Raheem sung for my opening thing. Like, I'm gonna say this probably 7 more times before the show is over. Y'all just gonna have to let me have this. Um, because it is that cool. Um, so let's talk a little bit about where we've come from and where we're actually going. So my very first season, I focused a lot on just relationships. My very first episode, and that's another two people that I am forever grateful for. My pastors, my spiritual parents, were my inaugural episode. They helped me to talk about the relationship of marriage, and it was a really great opener for a different type of podcast that I was accustomed to. My previous podcast was not previous; it's just changed a little bit. My other podcast is called the Lazarus Movement. Used to be called the Lazarus Movement. It's now called the Serious Unserious Gospel, and that was just me in front of the camera, pretty much like I am right now, and teaching. There really wasn't a whole lot of conversation back and forth, and transitioning to a podcast like this where you have to build your stuff around people and schedules and conversations was just a little different. So that first year, was just like the learning curve. I had guests, and there were moments where you have to fill the void and fill the silence and all of those types of things. But we had some really great conversations. We talked about the actual art of conversation. We talked about dating. I had my a really good group of friends on and fellow podcasters when we talked about the podcaster's manual. We talked about being a husband. We talked about being a wife. Um, and we talked about how music affects us and things like that in that first season. And then last season, we just kind of elevated that just a little bit more. We talked about fatigue, and we talked about what else did we talk about, child? I don't know. Not that I don't know, but we talked about a lot of stuff last year. We still talked about relationships. I had my good friends, my sister and my brother, Keisha and Derek Barnes. They were on, and we talked about what it's like to be married and to own several businesses together, and how you not only work together, but how you balance your marriage. Wait a minute, one more. Thank you. Um, we talked about that. I'm a big kid now was the first year. Last year, what else did we talk about? We talked about a lot of stuff. Y'all go back and look at the YouTube page and you can see all the things that we talked about. But at the end of the day, a lot of what I focused on was the relationship aspect. And though there are going to be some relationship stuff in this season, I'm kind of taking a little bit of a different turn and a little bit of a different curve. So this season, we're going to talk about healing and wholeness and faith and living in survival mode and trying to combat that and anxiety and things like that. So it should be an interesting type of season that I have going on. So let's go through some of these topics in the conversation. So my good friend Sean Wade is going to be with me next week. And that's going to be on the 20th. And we're going to talk about healing isn't linear, it's a loopy. And one of the things that we learn when we are talking about our healing process is that our healing process is not this straight line that everybody thinks that it's supposed to be. There are hills and valleys and twists and turns that all happen during your healing process. And there he is. Hey, Sean. I cannot wait to talk to you next week either. I'm so excited to have you on the show. I'll send you the questions next week, so you'll at least be sort of kind of prepared. Um, so we're going to be talking about that. And it should be really good, especially like I always laugh at how life works sometimes. And I actually had a situation that just happened, I guess, a couple days ago, where now I'm in the process of healing myself. And now, like, we have another aspect to have a conversation with. And these conversations will kind of bleed one to another. So it's going to be cool. There is a new aspect to the show that's going to be called Sip and Spill. So my first and second season, I asked the question all the time: do you prefer coffee or tea? And I, I've had several people on several times, so that question kind of got a little convoluted after a while because I asked you the same question every time you're on. So I wanted to come up with something different that would be the same across the shows, but not necessarily this. You get the same answer every single time. So sip and spill. So sip is going to be something that has to do with well, I mean, both of them have to do with the show, but sip is more of a reflective question, whereas spill, it sounds just like it sounds like you're going to spill something that we've either talked about or haven't touched, during the show. So that's going to be a nice, cool extra aspect at the end of the show. So next week, healing isn't linear, it's a loopy. And then our second episode is going to be called Faith Fatigue is Real. And I have a lot of friends who are churched, a lot of friends who work in ministry and things like that. And we always talk about ministry burnout. So, but we also don't talk about what it's like to be waiting patiently for God to move something in our lives or to do something or to give us something or us standing in a promise and what that fatigue in our faith looks like. And it doesn't mean that we're falling apart in the waiting, it's just the waiting. And sometimes how in that waiting space we screw it up, which then causes us to wait a little longer. And then what happens sometimes when you, especially when you see other people getting the things that you've been praying for, the things that you've been waiting for, you tend to get fatigued in your faith. So we're gonna talk about that. Third episode is unlearning survival mode. So those of us ladies and gentlemen that talk about we don't need nobody, ladies, we tend to say this phrase quite a bit where we say, I don't need no man, I can do it on my own, so on and so forth. I can't say that. Like I would like to have somebody do some of these things because I don't want to take out the trash no more. Um, I don't want to fix stuff anymore. I don't want to move stuff by myself. Like I just don't want to. So we're going to talk about hyper independence. We're going to talk about control, and then how we push that into the space and we call it self protection. So that's going to be a really good episode as well. Leaning into getting close to the mid season, I guess. When we talk about episode 4, we're going to talk about the lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. I know I've told several of them to myself. So this is about, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate it. Though I can't hold all the trash till the next time you come to Baltimore. But when you are coming back, I will make sure that I leave some for you so that you can take it out for me. Uh, the lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. So self deception, avoidance, and over spiritualized excuses. Um, it is amazing how we use the Bible to make an excuse so that we feel comfortable when the word of God is actually supposed to make us feel uncomfortable so that we can focus and do the things that God tells us to do. So that I hope to have several people on because that really is a roundtable discussion and that's really like a life changing conversation, and some really open air conversations just about how you tell a lie to yourself and then you start to believe the lie and then you have to figure out how to unlearn the lie that you've told. All right. Episode 5 is single, whole, and still human. So we're going to talk about desire, loneliness, wholeness, um, and how that wholeness doesn't mean that because we don't have somebody that we have to make ourselves feel whole. It's the simple fact of the matter that regardless if we have somebody or not, we are whole. So we're gonna have a good conversation there. Episode 6, we're gonna talk about sex, and it just is a prevalent conversation. And I want to talk about sex without being weird. So we're going to talk about desire, we're going to talk about shame, we're going to talk about boundaries, and we're going to talk about how faith plays a role in all of those things. And it's not going to be a cringy conversation. So if you are a church mother and you need to clutch your pearls that episode, that might not be the episode you need to watch that time. Because we want to talk and have a healthy conversation about it. One of the things that I've always said, and I think I've said it here on the show a couple of times, that it's amazing how we talk about not having sex and we talk about being pure and we talk about holding it and all of those types of things. And then we get to marriage and then we stop talking about it. So, I want to get into those aspects as well. Episode 7 is Faith After Disappointment. So when you pray and your prayers fail your expectations, you have to trust God with your scars. Um, you're praying for somebody to get well and they end up passing away. Just how do you manage faith after what you hoped would happen and it didn't? So that's gonna be a cool conversation as well. Episode 8 is going to be called Still Becoming. So that's going to talk about our identity, not only how we see ourselves, not only how God sees us, but how our identities have changed as we've gotten older, or how we've changed in the progress of becoming better. And no heat, no judgment in that conversation as well. So you know, we're going to talk about what we're proud of and, what we feel like we still have to work on. And I think we're all a work in progress still. Like we never get to um, become that whole thing, not whole, become that thing that I think we really imagine. I think in certain aspects of life, we get to the pinnacle, we get to the summit, and like we're good. But then there are other parts of our lives that are just falling apart or not where we wanted to be. So there are still areas that we are becoming. And then that'll take us into episode 9, where we talk about the version of me that survived. So this is about surviving trauma. And a lot of us have like super major trauma. Like I can say for myself, like I've been sexually assaulted, that's major trauma. But other people, trauma that's major to them could be their parents divorcing, or them being married and divorced, or them losing a spouse or losing a child. So we want to talk about the version of you that survived whatever that level of trauma was. So we're honoring survival without living in that space of trauma forever. And sometimes you hold on to a piece of the trauma and you never come out of it. And your life is ruled by that piece of trauma that's there. Hey, Jenny, how are ya? Uh, so that's episode 9. Episode 10 is I'm Not Who I Was Now What. So this is talking about outgrowing spaces, people, and identities. And some of us have a problem with letting people go. Me. I'm people. But sometimes you outgrow the space that you're in because everybody can't go where you're going. Everybody can't progress at the same speed that you have progressed. So we're going to talk about what that feels like. And sometimes when you outgrow a person or you outgrow a space, you tend to feel bad about leaving somebody behind or moving on from a relationship, or things along that line. So we want to have open air conversation about that and about how we get over the feelings of guilt sometimes when we have to leave people behind, and we have to move on. All right. Episode 11, choosing peace over patterns. So this is about cycle breaking, obedience without applause. So you have found yourself in the same pattern, or you find patterns in people that just have kind of been in this hamster wheel of a cycle, and you're over it. Like you have decided that you are getting off the carousel. You are moving on with your life or moving on with the project or what have you, And it's time to choose peace over these continual patterns. And sometimes the pattern is in us. Sometimes we just allow the same things to keep happening and happening and happening, and we don't choose us over the pattern. So now we're choosing peace over the pattern. So that's going to be a fun conversation. And then the last episode is going to be called The Last Pour for the season. And we're just going to do a lot of reflecting. We're going to bring the season to a close. We may have some after dark aspects, seeing that that's kind of how we've always ended our seasons, these last two. So maybe we'll have the last pour and then have an after dark episode or what have you. So we'll see how that goes with the season. So that's really it, y'all. You'll notice that in the announcements, after this first episode, you're going to see it like chili peppers or fire or something like that. And that'll tell you the spice level of the show. So I'm trying to do something a little different, a little fun. Um, so let's not. We trying to do better this season, Jennifer. You are not too ugly to be on camera. So if you want to be a guest on the show, you'll have to be a guest on the show. On the show, ma'am. Visible on the show. Um and and I think it's gonna be a cool season. So I'm really looking forward to having the folks on for the shows. I'm also looking to have some professionals on the show. So those folks who are relationship therapists or life coaches, looking to have maybe like clergy or folks that work in ministry on the show, just to give a different perspective, some fresh perspectives. And I'm quite sure that the usual suspects that you have grown to love over these last two seasons will also be a part of it, because they have always been a part of the show. And here he is right now. I talk so well about you, Kevin, and One Mind Productions in the production of the intro music. You and Mr. Raheem. See, I told you I was going to talk about it again. So, Kevin, publicly, I'd like to say thank you, even though I've said thank you to you probably a million times already. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And if Mr. Anderson ever watches or gets a whiff of this, thank you too, for the wonderful intro music. Um, oh, okay, good. You heard. Um, kind of situation. So it's good. So Spice Scale, we're gonna have the new aspect of the show called Sip and Spill. We got new graphics, new music. It's just new for season three. And I'm so excited to share another season with you guys. So I want to know a thousand times more. Yes, Viva, you know what? I'm about to put you in timeout because you're not gonna be on my show harassing me, man. We not having that. We will not. Um, so I'd love to hear what you guys think about this upcoming season. If there's something that you're looking forward to, if there's a conversation that you hope we have during the season, this literally is just a skeleton of what I want to do. You know, I'm a child of the wind. So sometimes it's like we might do this episode and I might do an episode in between. Um Real? I mean, do you think I haven't had one on a show or two? Like, but to answer your question, yes. Um, you bring on the show what you want to drink. First of all, Jenny, you don't have no right to be taking nobody out of timeout. It's my show. If I want to put Viva in timeout, she put me in timeout on the Two Fat Guys podcast. So I could put her in timeout. So time out. Anyway. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why it's good to have friends because your friends get on places and clown all the time. Yeah, Jenny probably. Well, no, Jenny might not be not at her house. I don't know if she allowed to do that at her house, especially with my nephew. My nephew might try to take a drink. Um, so anyway, this is where we're going for the season. It's going to be a good ride. I look forward to all the folks that are going to answer the call to be guests every show. I may not put a call out. I may specifically request people to be a part of the show. So if any of those topics sounded great to you, you can always reach out to me via Facebook Messenger or on the Instagram page. I check them pretty frequently. If you have not gone to the page, liked, left a recommendation, left a review on the page, let's go and do that. So you want to go to the Facebook page, Coffee and Tea. There's a place for you to leave a review. And I want honest reviews. If you hate the show, tell me that you hate the show. But if you like the show, you like the host, you like what we talk about, say that as well. So when you go to Facebook, it literally is the word coffee, the letter N, and the word tea. That's the page. You'll see the logo and you'll be able to connect. I want to try to get enough likes and follows on that because right now I can't post the videos to the Coffee and Tea page because we don't have enough followers yet. So I want to make sure that we get all of the followers up so that I can post to that page as well. Because some people don't follow me personally. So I want to make sure that all of the viewership gets to watch the show. If Facebook isn't your thing, you can also go to the YouTube page. And the YouTube page is the same thing. Let me make sure because I could have spelled it differently. And I have a habit of doing that. So we want to make sure. Let's switch over here. It's like, Kristen, you should have did this already. What is happening? Anywho, you can go to the Facebook page and the link to the show for so it's coffee and tea. So no N for YouTube. So YouTube is coffee, the word and tea. We'll get a banner eventually, so that I can have this stuff at the bottom of the screen. It's just me. I'm the producer and host, so I haven't gotten everything together. Almost though. So that's where we're going. None of y'all are right. What is happening in the comments right now? Um, I don't know what's happening. What is going on? Thank you, Kevin, for being the sensible person in my comments. I can't wait either. This is gonna be a really fun season. Like I'm really looking forward to it. What are y'all doing? What is happening right now? I'm sleepy. Yes you are, goofball. You need to figure out what to do with your life. Um, which is why this is a random conversation. Um, yeah, so that's really it, y'all. I ain't got nothing else. I didn't expect this to be a whole hour. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up as to where we're going. And yes, I know we have gone off the rails if I say that you are the sensible one. Um, but it's chaos in the comments right now. Yes, well, Sean, this not the show for the shenanigans. That's after this show. Shenanigans don't ensue on the random show. because I didn't give y'all an opportunity to prepare shenanigans. So that's why this is the way it is. But I appreciate y'all for coming on. I didn't have nothing to do this evening, so I was like, oh, you know what? It would be fun to just talk about what's happening during the season. What? Um, Jenny, you don't watch my show enough to hate it, so go away. Just go away. Now Jennifer has been harassing me all week, just randomly harassing me all week. We talk every Thursday and Friday, and then you know what she did? She starts FaceTiming me at random times, and then gets upset when I don't answer the phone. We have a schedule. You call me on these days, and I expect to see your phone call. Not at these random times. I don't be looking. She called and then she sent me these terrible emojis like she was mad at me because I didn't answer the phone. And it's just what friends do. It happens all the time. So what are y'all talking about? This is what happens when I'm focused and don't pay attention to the comments. Um So, seeing as nobody has any comments outside of Kevin and Sean saying that they can't wait for the season, it looks like my time online is up. So, again, go to the Coffee and Tea page. Make sure you like and follow. Make sure you share the page so we can get the viewership up so I can start uh, videoing to the actual Coffee and Tea page. Granted, I don't mind sharing it to my page. It's fine, but I do want to get people up for that. Go to the YouTube page. Coffee and Tea is YouTube, and Coffee letter N T is Facebook. Um, and go over there and like it too. Like sometimes you be out and Facebook not working, you go watch it on YouTube. If you want to watch a show again or you missed the show, and it's been a couple weeks and Facebook taking videos down, then Jennifer, did you not hear me say that I am going to make a banner with the names? Girl, bye. You not listening. Um, with the stuff on it. Um, See, now you made me lose my train of thought. Anywho, I, obviously, so so that's all I got really. Thank you guys for coming on and watching and being a part of the precursor to the first show. Again, set your calendar, set your clocks for this show that I'm going to have with Sean. As you can see, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think for some people, it's going to, hopefully be a healing conversation. Um, everybody needs a little healing. Yeah, Kevin, see, that's what I'm saying. What is happening? What is happening right now? I don't know. Um, anywho, um, it's just amazing how stuff can go off the rails all at the same time. But anyway, one out to my production for this outro music as well. I tell Kevin all the time, you outdo yourself every single time, and he outdone himself before. So, that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me this evening, and we'll see you next week for our season 1 episode. See ya.